Hello guys and welcome to another video here in Diesel Railcar Sim. We haven't actually done any kind of video on this for quite a while, but I want to do one and it's had quite a large UI update. I can't remember the last video I did, whether it actually had parts of the new UI in it or not, but there's definitely been further things since. It's on the beta branch as well, so getting updated quite frequently. And it's also a new map. Around December the 30th, I believe, 2020, the Solaris map was released. And it's a really cool little map, actually. Let me show you the map here. That's kind of it. It's not the most accurate. This is like the exact accurate version. The actual kind of what it appears as, like if you're a passenger on the map, is there. Let me see if I can bring it up for you guys. It's on their workshop page, so I'll be able to show you in a bit more detail off of there. Here we are. So let's bring up the display capture. It should now be up. There. So you can see here it is. You've got, I think it's about a 60-minute journey from the furthest point on the map, about Beaver Hill Forest. Round to Northbury. It's about 40 minutes to Rochdale Main, I think, just over. So it's probably about 60 minutes between Beaver Hill and Northbury. So it's a fair-sized map. You've got 5 suburban lines, and then I think it's called like a Western Summit Railway or something, that also goes along operating Class 37s. However, I decided a couple of days yesterday to do one of those runs, and there was a slight bug where the signal didn't know what to do with me. I don't know why. I contacted the developer on Steam, and he said he knows. They said they know that the issue is there, but they haven't been able to really work out what is causing it. It might be because I'm on the beta version. I don't know, but apparently it is a known bug. So can't do the West. Apparently it doesn't always happen either. It probably has something to do with how Diesel Railcar Sim automatically generates routes when you spawn in. It automatically generates all of the AI, so sometimes they're running a bit late or sometimes they're a bit early or whatever, and it kind of impacts then whether you have to wait at signals or whatever. So normally I do wait at signals and wait for the full amount of time. Being a freight run that we're doing today, we probably are going to have that. I normally just sit and wait, but sometimes on one of my journeys that amassed to about 15 minutes, so obviously I'm going to skip that. I'm just going to fast forward on the videos because I don't think you guys will like me just chilling at a signal for 15 minutes on a video. I mean, I could actually pause the video as well, but I'd rather just speed it up. So that is the route map. Today we're going to be taking a freight run. We're going to be taking freight train 120, class 37. I think it's 9 cars. We'll have a look later. We're going to be taking it from the Rochdale factory, taking it 30 minutes, down the main line back to Romsey, then down the freight detour past Solaris and Templeton, and then back on to actually we might pass Templeton. I think the detour's around there, and then back on the main line and ending up at Greenford factory. So I've done the first leg of this, going from Greenford to Rochdale before. I've never done this leg. I've only arrived in Rochdale, so we'll see what we've got in store for us today. We're probably going to have some interesting stuff going on. When you never know what's going to happen with Diesel Railcar Sim. There's always, the potential that a train on our route could be delayed, and therefore we're delayed or whatever. Yes, it's a 9-car train taking what looks like loaded stone down to the Greenford factory. You can see their Rochdale factory, and then it's a 28-minute journey, I think. And let me have a look. Yeah, 28 minutes. This new UI is awesome. I really like it. I like the colour scheme. Right, drive. We're using most of the assists in this game, like target speed or whatever, because I don't want to be messing anything up. Right, we need to use the we need to be able to use the numpad keys, and let's just check that none of them are bound to anything on my recording software. I can't remember. Don't want to accidentally stop the recording halfway through. It appears that they're okay. Right, start process. So, K to activate the control desk, U to start the engine. There we go. Forward arrow to go into forward reverse. By the way, these are all default keys. Hold down B and then press E to release the brakes. Go as far as first application, then hold down Y to release the handbrake. Now on this map, the brake pressure on this train is broken. It's supposed to be showing the brake pressure that we have, and it works on the other map that I played with exactly the same train. So I don't know why it's causing it with this one. Bit weird. Right, we're here at Rochdale Factory. You can see there's our loaded train. Let me just take a quick screenshot. Can I hide the HUD? That's as far as I can go. There we go. We'll take it outside the factory like that. Look at that. That's cool, right? You can barely see the UI. There we go. Taken. Back up. And let's get out of here. Don't have to be that gentle with power. Obviously, we're transporting freight. It's not going to be complaining about ride comfort. Anyway, away we go then. Obviously, non-stop, all 28 minutes of this journey. However, I think we will hit a couple of signals along the way. Obviously, being a freight train, even if a passenger service is quite far away, it'll still get priority over us. Even though I don't really understand why, because we are actually quicker than passenger services. We can do 50, whereas even though the speed limit allows them to go up to 70, they rarely exceed 40 because of where the stations are. And then on top of that, just the fact that obviously they stop at every station. I don't stop at any station, so I don't know why they get priority, but that's how it works, meaning that we will have to probably wait as we join the main line up here. You can see that red signal just before that 50 limit. Also, this train can normally go up to 90. We're limited to 50 today because of the stone wagons in the back. They have a maximum speed of 50. That's the reason why I never use the coal wagons with this train. I refuse to use the coal wagons with this train. They have a maximum speed of just 35, and I hate doing that. Now, there's a couple of changing gradients. This is all downhill coming into Rochdale Factory, so heading out will probably be uphill using logic. So this thing can be quite bad. There's also a very downhill stretch between Rochdale Main and the branch off of the factory, so again that'll be downhill. It's uphill from Rochdale Main to Rochdale Factory, so it's massively downhill for us. We'll have to watch the brakes for that, because this thing doesn't like to brake when going downhill. You can use even maximum brakes, and it doesn't really like to stop, so that'll be interesting. We do have AWS on this train, so we will hear announcements from signals. We need to press the spacebar when that happens. It looks as though we're in luck. Our signal up here looks to be on green. Yes, I think it is. So that's good. Obviously, it doesn't update in the UI, so you do need to watch that. Obviously, our target speed is going to start going down. We can just ignore that because we know the signal is in fact on green, so we can continue onwards on our journey. And there you go, it has just updated alert to say. Hopefully this run does go smoothly. We do receive a bit of penalty points for being late, although if it's unavoidable it doesn't really matter. Obviously the overall game, the end of this, the kind of aim of these railcar sim is to play the same service over and over again and try and improve your points. That's kind of the end point of diesel railcar sim. Just do every scenario you can and try to get the best points you can, but it doesn't really matter. Obviously, some runs as well, they are just going to have a delay on them, guaranteed. This author of this map, that is one thing that they could have improved on. When doing the other map, I can't remember what it's called. I have done a few videos on it before, but it's played by the same person who did Frisia Western Lines. I can't remember what it's called, but they did a really good one where basically when you do freight services, they actually timetable in where you're going to have stopovers and whatever, so that you don't end up running 1,000,000 miles an hour late, 1,000,000 minutes late, but sadly this author doesn't seem to have done that, so some services you can't actually get through them without a delay. Now we've got a maximum speed of 45 coming up, so we're only going to go as far as 45. We're not going to use too much throttle because this is that massive hill I was talking about, where this thing actually needs 100% throttle to maintain speed going up here. So I'm not going to be pushing it. Why is our target speed coming down? Is that signal actually red? It better not be, because I'm not going to be able to brake. I haven't seen any AWS, so we're going to have to start braking. Assume it's on red until we discover the AWS is actually up here. So we'll find out when we pass it up here if it is indeed on red or not. It is on red. Stop. Stop. I think we'll be able to catch up because the target speed was relying on the whole thing being downhill, I think. So we should be able to catch back up with it. I can't see the signal yet, so I think we're safe. So we might be stuck outside Rochdale for a little bit. Although this is actually a station. Actually, I think it's just gone green. Oh, rip, accidentally went the other way. Back to emergency. There you go. I accidentally went into emergency then. Oh, what did I do there? Oh dear, there you go. I accidentally switched to the brake van. I think the speed limit is about 25 through Rochdale. That's what the signal was basically doing, I think. It was changing. Yeah, the speed limit is... actually, it wants me to slow down. The speed limit is actually 45 here at Rochdale, but it wants me to... I don't know, actually, we might have to hold here for a little bit. We're actually a little bit early. So maybe there's a signal that we do have to wait out, and the author has planned for a delay on this particular service. I don't know, I can't see that signal, and there's no ABS. ABS? What am I on about? I'm not playing iRacing, AWS. Okay, it does appear that this signal is on red, so we're going to start braking. We'll probably have to hold on the platform for, I suspect, about 2 minutes looking at the time. That signal there has just gone green, so I think we'll have to wait for a passing passenger train. Probably. There's probably a passenger train just due into Rochdale. Quite a big station, Rochdale, on this network. So, obviously, we're not supposed to be stopping here, but we are anyway. We are not due here for another 2 minutes, so... And you can see there, I just passed it 1 minute early. So, we're absolutely fine to wait for the signal to go on to green. We'll get a little message from the signaller as soon as we stop, hopefully, telling us kind of what's going on. So there you go, we've stopped at Rochdale. We should get a message from the signaller. We're waiting for a Rochdale to Beaverhill service. That'll be this. We're basically waiting for that to depart and get out of the way. Then we can depart ourselves. This is what I mean. When you are a freight service, you do always get the passenger service, despite the fact that the passenger service will be stopping at every station and we won't stop anywhere, it gets priority. So off it goes, Suburban 4 down to Beaverhill. Off it departs. See ya. Right. So what we want to do now is just speed it up a little bit. Page up. We'll speed it to back times 5, so not a lot. You can go up to times 20. So we'll let that depart, and then we should be clear to go. You can see we're supposed to be passing here at 7:53. It's currently 7:53, so we're actually not going to be that late. I think we'll be okay. Right, where is that train? We are going to have to wait for it, I think, at every stop as well. I thought it's departed now. I don't know. We're still waiting. Why are we still waiting? It says we're still waiting for S4 from Rochdale. It's probably a signal that it has to clear. Actually, the next signal isn't until Rochdale Riverbank. That's why. It's got to actually leave the next station before we're allowed to leave here. That makes total sense. Well, there's such a lack of signals. Right. Away we go. Obviously we sped that up because we were waiting for about 5 minutes, so good that we sped it up. Yeah, there's not another signal until Rochdale Riverbank, so there we go. Out we go. That does mean we're not going to be held up by it at Rochdale Riverbank, and after Rochdale Riverbank, that's when we turn left onto the Rochdale Freight Branch, and we're there then until just past Solaris Central. So. And it's only for freight, so we won't get held up on it. I think the whole thing has a speed limit of about 40, 45. And it's quite nice. There's a couple of gradients on it we'll have to watch. But overall, it's a pretty nice little journey. It's why I took this one, because you get to take the freight branch around. It's quite nice scenery. This is mad, that's one thing. Even though some of the services maybe aren't quite as well done as I'd like, and things like the changelog in Steam Workshop aren't there, and you know, the author actually forgot to add some required dependencies at one point as well, I saw in the comments. So, you know, even if the author does mess up some things about this map like that, the actual modelling of this map I think is amazing. A lot of the factories, Greendale Factory, or whatever it's called, Green something, where we're going, is actually really nice. It's got some really nice buildings and whatever. It's a really well made map, this, in terms of the scenery, because you can't, I've tried to use the map editor in this, you cannot do a lot with it. Anyway, we've got a green signal to pass through Rochdale Riverbank. It looks as though, despite what I was saying about the author making these schedules not compliant with the rest of the AI traffic, it seems as if this one at least is pretty compliant. I'm quite happy with that. Very nice of the author of that. Thank you. Again, if they didn't see this video, I hope they like it. Anyway, up to... we can actually accelerate now, because there's a 45 limit that's just started. And apparently there's a red signal, but I think that'll be green. What we'll just have to do is slow down for the points. There's points that are going to switch us over. We're supposed to be going past there at 8, 7:59 just gone, so the game classes is on time, not early. So very happy with that. We've done pretty well. But yeah, we'll have to slow down to around about 25, I think. And then the game will clear us then onto the freight branch. You've just got to be going slowly initially on that freight branch. So you can see at the moment it's red, but it will probably turn green as we start getting a bit closer to it when the signaller changes the... and then you can see we're on that freight detour for a little bit then. The signaller should change the signal when we get down. I think it's maybe a 15 limit even. So we've got to get down below the speed limit of the line, and then they will clear us. It's how the signals work. Apparently in real life at this kind of time in history, I think it's set around the 70s, this game. Apparently that's how it worked, where they would put the signal on red until you got down to line speed, and then they turned it green, like we just saw there. And then you can see as well the little map we have down there changes now, because the signal has changed the points for us. So heading through now, let's get a nice little... There you go. This game does actually look really nice. The settings are cranked up mostly to the max. I can't have them fully maxed. My 1060 can't handle that, but I think they're on about high. So it looks quite nice, this game. It's come a long way, actually, this game, in terms of scenery, the modding. It's the reason I still play this game, though. It came out a few years ago, and even if the developer only updates it every 1-2 months, there's quite a few really decent mod add-ons for this game. The Steam Workshop support for this is better than any train sim out there. I mean, Train Sim World doesn't have workshop support, and Train Sim only has workshop support if you buy all the maps, really, so pretty decent. Anyway, obviously all this content's free. I can just click subscribe and there it is. Right, heading through Rochdale Freight Branch now, up to 25, then it'll be up to 40 then, and we'll be on that freight branch then for about 10 minutes, I think. There are a couple of up and down gradients on there, so we'll have a bit of fun trying to negotiate that. And you can see this is basically just a straight line. What this is basically a detour for any freight trains. There's only a few freight trains on this map, there's not many, so that's why it's only single track. And it's basically, yeah, just a little single track that is just reserved for freight trains, so we don't get in the way of any of the passenger services around Solaris Central. And then you can see there's Greenford Factory, not Greendale, Greenford. 8:13, so we'll be there in about just over 10 minutes. Don't know, I don't think that signal's red up there. No, it isn't. We can see that's the AWS signal. So if that's up, that means that the next signal's green, and we don't have to listen to any of this. We want about, I don't know, 45% on the power, maybe more like 35% actually. We'll go 30 for now. If the plane? What am I about? If the train starts going a bit quickly, we'll start to power it back. But yeah, it's a really cool little game. The physics are really cool. I said the mod support definitely. We're driving a Class 37 with a nice modded livery with modded coaches on the back. I think they're mods anyway. The coaches you do actually get lost in what is what's mods and what isn't a mod. There's Romsey Mill off to the side there. You can drive a Class 03 down there. I did that yesterday as well. So I've been really getting back into this game lately. That's why I've made a video on it. This Solaris map is actually really nice, and also it's the Harbour Valley network. That's what it's called. Harbour Valley. That's the other one. This now is a bit plain, this scenery, for a little bit. It starts to get a bit more interesting after we pass the Solaris freight detour bit. But yeah, Romsey Mill is off there. That's, you know, I quite like the Class 03. The only downside is that it has a top speed of 30 and it's extremely underpowered. Like I was taking 4 or maybe 5 empty like wagons, quite small little flatbed wagons, empty, 4 or 5 of them, and it was struggling to get up a hill at 28 mile an hour. I mean, yeah, it's a really for actual train journeys rather than shunting. Because I think it is intended for shunting. It's horrendously underpowered. I mean, I don't know what it would have been like with a full load, but wow. Anyway, coming up to the Solaris Freight Detour, we're actually a little bit early for once in my life. I'm not usually early on this game, so I'm usually late because of the red signals and whatever. But despite being held at Rochdale, we are pretty decent. Obviously, being held at Rochdale was guaranteed. Even if that other journey was early or late, we would have still been held, I think. That was one of those plans. Because some holding at signals is planned, like it's in a way that it's planned into the schedule, and then other times you just get unlucky with waiting. Right, it's a bit uphill here, so applying a bit of power, this is where it starts getting a bit more interesting. You have some uphill and downhill sections on this little freight detour. And if we're lucky, we might get into Greenford Factory a little bit early, so that'd be nice. And then it starts to flatten out, and then it'll go downhill in a minute up here. So I've done, as you can probably tell, I've done a good 3 or 4 runs down this track now. 3 runs maybe. So I'm beginning to learn what it's like. And that's the thing, as you learn more in Diesel Railcar Sim, you can maybe start to turn off things like the assists. I just have them all on because I actually quite like them. It's kind of, you know, like in Train Simulator, I have them turned on, even though you can turn them off. It's just kind of, even without the target speed. The target speed's quite a big one, because obviously the physics in this game are much more realistic than they are in Train Simulator. Even without being on one of these trains in real life, you can just tell. In Train Simulator, Train Sim World, you can basically brake at the same point every time, and you'll get it right. Maybe you'll overrun once, but with this, it is takes quite a bit of skill, I think, to get it correct without the target speed. Even with the target speed, it can be a challenge because of how the target speed works. Right, I think we're done with the majority of the tricky section now. That's where it gets a bit tricky. Maybe the load behind us. I don't know. I thought if you were heavier, it was more difficult to keep control of a freight train, but maybe it's if you're lighter. Or I'm pretty sure if it's heavier, it's more difficult. There we go, heading through that little arch under there. This is what I mean. The scenery, even though it's quite plain, because this is all you can really do with the Diesel Railcar Sim route editor. All you can do with it, I'm not joking, is place house, place tree, and shape of land. And it's all in 2D, the editor. So you kind of only get to see what you've placed once you've finished it properly. Oh, we've got a diesel rail car down there. So that's the main line. We've obviously cut past it because we're a freight service, and we don't want to be getting in the way of all the main services. So we cut underneath. If that train was right under there, I would have paused the game and got a screenshot. But sadly, it's already departed past that little bit. But you can see we're heading over the main line, then we'll head over, and then we'll join that main line. And then about halfway down that main line, then we join into Greenford Factory. So we should run green signals until the end of this route now, because it's basically only reserved for freight, that little route, and the intercity trains that run along there, I think, maybe use it as well. But we might see that passenger rail car, because it'll be stopping at Templeton Station. So it will get a bit delayed, and we might be able to pass it there. I don't know. It'd be really cool if we can be like alongside a diesel rail car doing the same speed as us for a little bit. That'd be really cool. Right, idle power, because we're starting to get a little bit of speed down this hill. This is quite a steep hill, actually, because we begin to... this is basically where we join up with the main line here. So you can see there's the main line, look. Where's that diesel rail car? There it is. Oh, it stopped at the station, so we're a bit ahead of it. And you can see, we're not even on the intercity bit, we are actually on a separate freight line, I think, at the moment. But this is like the main line now, so release the power, release the brakes, because we are now... I should have used my horn along there. You might get a bit of a penalty for that later. There we go, so you can see there's the diesel rail car there. I think there's something in the other direction as well. Yep, another rail car. That's Templeton Station, actually. So I don't know what that station is. I'm not going to bother looking. I've got to focus on the train I'm actually driving rather than another one. And yeah, you can see there's a 35 limit, look, and then it'll go down to about 10 later on. I believe the limit is actually 70 on the tracks alongside. I don't know why it's 40 along here. Maybe it's the type of rail, it looks like they're different types, so maybe that's why the limit's 40, because it's all straight, obviously. And it's probably also because it's only used by freight. This line probably only used once, maybe twice an hour, in both directions, like in total, I mean. Oh, we've got a little red signal coming up. That's probably to slow down to about 15, so we can get into Greenford Factory, which is coming up here on our right shortly. I think it's 15 or maybe even 10 mile an hour into it, so yeah, you just put those signals. Is that Templeton Station? Greenford Station. Oh, Templeton was further down then. That's Greenford. Right, so slowing down, you can see that's the factory off there. If you see that building and then that right thing there, it's a really nice little run into the factory. You head under like a little bridge. There's some really nice little buildings. I don't know whether the authors custom made them or whether they were included in the game, and I haven't really seen many of them used. I don't know, but they're really nice buildings. You know, they're not just like stock housing. They actually look fairly nice. But I think you can mod stuff into this game, maybe buildings. I don't know. Maybe that's a feature now. I haven't really done much with the livery editing. I know it was in the livery and route editing was apparently improved at one point, so. There we go, so you can see the signal's gone up, look, and you can see there it's a 10 mile an hour limit heading into Greenford Factory. This map author does seem to have also built some very quite sharp curves into their junctions, where when the train goes over them, it looks a little bit unnatural. I don't know whether maybe it's just how they did it in the route editor, or maybe they did intend it to be that type, but also coming out of Solaris Industrial Port. It's not actually a port, it's like an industrial estate kind of thing. But coming out of there, there's also a very, very tight corner. I thought even going at 10, the train would derail. But you can see it's a really nice looking building, this. Look, you've got this little kind of curve into the factory, and then you've got this little platform. That's the same sort of building as we saw at Rochdale Factory. But yeah, this is one of the freight routes you can do. I think it runs a couple of times a day, Rochdale to Greenford. Anyway, in we go then to the platform. You can see what I mean though. Look at the train, the way it moves about. It doesn't really look very natural. I don't know whether it's supposed to be like that. We've got a Class 03. They're also doing some freight movements. That's probably going from Blackridge Pool Mines to Solaris. I don't know why it's blowing its horn. Why is it doing that? There's no level crossing there, so it doesn't have a reason to be blowing its horn. Anyway, we're about a minute early as well. That's really nice. We'll be stopping just short of the buffers. I think just short of that little white and red post. You can see there is the world's slowest engine. Look at it go. See, look. So we've finished. So obviously, it was obviously maybe waiting for us to get off of the freight line so it could use it. So you can see what I mean. It's not actually. It's only single track. Oh, rip! I actually clicked off of the. Yeah, I actually clicked off of the game there for a minute. That does happen. Diesel Railcar Sim is another one of those games where when you click off of the tab, it actually hides the tab. It's quite annoying. There's quite a few games that do it, and it really does annoy me because particularly when you're recording and needing to press buttons on the recording software, or if you just accidentally misclick like I did then, if you have more than one monitor. Anyway, there we go, and we are actually 30 seconds early, so there we go. Pretty successful, I think. Right, we'll wait for it to finish unloading. Oh, there we go. Look at the diesel rail car go. Look at that. You know what? Let's grab a quick screenshot. That's a nice screenshot. Got the factory, the Class 37, and the rail car. I think I might use that as my thumbnail. Even though I forgot to hide the UI, I didn't have time. Such a perfect screenshot opportunity. So you can see there, my usual 28% loss of tutorial penalties. That's just expected. It's basically the multiplier of all of these together. You can see the target speed, particularly the one that is really bad. I might turn off repeat signals on minimap. That'll give me a massive bonus in score. And I'm actually able to read signals. I know that the arm up it means go. Generally, if you see one of those, it means you can go. I know, obviously, the AWS signals are the things that warn you whether it's red or whatever ahead, and obviously you can also tell if there's a signal coming up because your target speed will start dropping. So maybe I'll be able to get rid of the repeat signals on minimap, and that'll massively improve my scores. Anyway, only exceeded the speed limit once, so that's pretty good. We exceeded it there, coming down the hill into Greenford. Look, energy use. I'm always very efficient in the Class 37. I don't know whether the game's fuel calculations are maybe wrong in the Class 37, because other fuel locomotives, I'm not actually that good at getting a good energy use, but the Class 37, even without trying, I can get it sometimes as low as 65%. So, you know, who knows? I think the low percentage is better, right? It's basically the percentage of, I think 100% is exactly what you were expected to use. So we used, we're saving the environment, using less megajoules of energy. Yeah, who knows? You can see we did pretty well there on our target speed, sticking to the speed limits and whatever. And we managed to stay on time all run. And we got a very nice 8,970 points, which compared to the other version of this journey I did, I can't remember which one was it I did now. It might have been on my other PC. No, it wasn't. It was this one here. Look, it's basically the exact service, but in return, it's even got the same number, just one added on. So instead of FR120, it's 121. I got only 2,900 points because I got stuck at Rochdale Freight Branch. I got stuck there for 15 minutes waiting for about 3 passenger services to pass by. So I lost a lot of points, which was a bit of a shame. Obviously, nothing you can do about that. But hey ho, oh well. I've only just noticed there's like a missing service as well. You've got FR121 that goes from Greenford to Rochdale, but then there isn't a Rochdale to Greenford. It just skips straight to FR123. What happened to FR122? It's gone missing. Yeah, it's quite a popular route that you can see as well. It's only timetable to take 22 minutes. Whether the one we did was timetable to take 28. So that was the author of the map actually adding a bit of extra time for us to make sure that we had enough time waiting for that other train to pass us. So really nice. Some of these freight routes are really nice on this map. It's a very nice little route. Some of the freight routes are actually very large, quite long freight routes. And some of them are a bit shorter. Some of them go in and out of portals as well. I've never actually gone that far, so maybe we'll have to give that a go. So yeah, there's 2 main freight routes. It's basically Greenford to Rochdale and Solaris to Rochdale, and then you've also got Rochdale to Portal. There's also the mines to Solaris, but the mines quite frequently use a Class 03, although that one is actually using a Class 37, so I think I'll have to try that on a video, or maybe not on a video sometime. Although the only downside is I think it does actually use coal wagons, so maybe, I don't know, as you guys probably know by now, I don't really like the coal wagons in this game because you have to do... oh, actually, no, they're not coal wagons. You can do 45 with them. It's a bit better than 35. The speed limit along a lot of the freight branch, as we saw earlier, is actually 40 miles an hour anyway, so it doesn't really matter an awful lot anyway, I guess. We'll have to try some of the massive trains as well. Look at that. 42 cars. I don't think we've got any more than that, so we might have to try that sometime. A 42 car train. Is that the most this map's got to offer? I think it is. So it's a really cool little map. This really happy. I really like the developer for this map. Big thumbs up to you. If you end up watching this video, probably won't, but big thumbs up for making it. Really cool little map. So I hope everyone really enjoyed this one. There's also some intercity services that you can do. And some regional services that you can do. They're like semi-fast, but they go from portal to portal, so it's a bit less interesting. I don't really like the services that start... I don't mind them starting at portals. It's when they end in portals that annoys me a bit, but, it ain't too bad. It would just be nice to have maybe a slightly larger, just to try and finish all of the routes. I get the point, though. A lot of the intercity trains as well, the point of them is to add in traffic around the place. That's kind of the point of them. They add in a little bit of traffic, a little bit of scenic traffic for you to see. Also, the developer of this map, another thing that they did, a lot of the stop times at stations are the same for arrival and departure, which is quite annoying. So at times it can be quite difficult to run on time, but they're just small little picky things. Not too bad. I don't know, this service looks quite interesting. S1 from Solaris to Rochdale. Do they all do that? It goes like... Yeah, they all do it, look. It goes from... Yeah, look, Solaris to Roch... Wait, that's that's S2. S1, look, it goes Solaris to Rochdale, but it does like a circle. So number 1, then it goes number 2. Where's waypoint 3? Wait, what? These are railcar sims forgotten how to count. Who knows? I think it does a little circle, that's what it does. Never mind. Anyway, guys, hope you really enjoyed that one. Hope to see you in the next one, and... bye-bye!